Make your next move with American Express Business Platinum. You'll get 5 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. Plus, enjoy access to the American Express Global Lounge Collection. And with the welcome offer of 150,000 points, your business can soar to all new heights. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum. Amex Business Platinum, built for business by American Express.
Build a routine with Ollie that supports your wellness needs, like getting your daily vitamins and minerals with Ollie's multi-gummies, or keeping your mood upbeat with all the vitamin D in Hello Happy. Give your gut health some support with probiotics, and wake up feeling refreshed after taking Ollie Sleep. Do wellness on your terms. Find Ollie at a Walmart or Target near you or at ollie.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hello, hello. Welcome back to Peak Northwest, an outdoors and travel podcast by the Oregonian and OregonLive, dedicated to the adventure and exploration of our beautiful Pacific Northwest. I'm Jamie Hale.
And I'm Vickie Connor. Together, we take you to some of the most beautiful and interesting destinations in our region, discussing where to go, what to do, and places to see. And before we jump into all of that, we have some big changes afoot here in the Peak Northwest podcast world. In some bittersweet news, I'll be taking a step back from the podcast, kind of just to focus on all of my video work here at the Oregonian.
Vickie, I remember you told me this. I was so sad to hear this and so happy for you to be doing something that makes you feel happy and more fulfilled. And I think that's great. And I'm going to miss you so much. We're all going to miss you and all of your adventure and travel stories in the podcast. But the good news is that this is it's not a permanent goodbye, right? Like it's not forever.
No, never, Jamie. I'm always lurking in Peak Northwest. Don't you worry. I'll be coming back as a guest on the pod, of course. And then I'm also working behind the scenes as normal to edit all of the episodes and such. Yeah, I enjoy working more behind the scenes on things. But yeah, can't keep me away for too long.
Oh my gosh. Well, you've been here for so long. I feel like for years. I feel like truly, I can't remember exactly how long it's been, but it's been like a couple and a half of years, hasn't it?
Yeah, probably going on closer toward 3 years now. So we've shared a lot of stories and adventures and some great times on this podcast.
Oh my gosh. Well, Vickie, I'm glad that you're sticking around to some degree, that we'll still hear your name and we'll still have you on from time to time to come talk about your various, triathlon escapades or mountain climbing adventures or biking. I mean, there's so many things. But we are thrilled today to introduce our new co-host here on Peak Northwest. We have with us on the pod today Chiara Profenna, who is our religion and culture reporter here at the Oregonian, joining the pod and joining me on the co-hosting desk. So Chiara, thanks so much for coming on today and for volunteering to step in to join us on Peak Northwest.
Yeah, of course. Hello. I am happy to be here indefinitely.
That's awesome. Well, I feel like a great thing to do when we have someone new here on the podcast is to learn a little bit more about you, since you're going to be spending so much time with us here. So how do you feel about a little Q&A today?
Would love that.
How long have you been at the Oregonian? And can you tell us a little bit about what your beat is here?
Yeah, so I started officially in March 2024 as a reporting fellow, although I interned for 10 weeks over the summer in 2023 working in life and culture. And then coming back in March, I started on a new beat, religion and culture.
And Chiara, you are not exactly a stranger to the Portland area. You've been here for a little bit now. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I originally came up here for college. I graduated from the University of Portland. And yeah, my first time coming to the Pacific Northwest was basically when I started college in 2019, in the fall of 2019. And then I kind of just went back and forth throughout the pandemic, back home to Texas, where I am from, San Antonio, Texas, and officially moved here right after I graduated, moved downtown in like April, May of 2023.
Obviously, Texas, Oregon, different places for a lot of
hmm
reasons. Was there like a sort of a culture shock, or what was it like for you to come from Texas to Oregon?
Oh, yeah, there was like a massive culture shock. Very different socially, politically, climate-wise. It's basically a complete 180 from what I knew in Texas, but I think that was the point. I was hoping to get about as far away from Texas as I could possibly get, so landing in the Pacific Northwest was a great choice that has just worked out for me.
So, Chiara, outside of all of your journalism work, what do you like to do here in Portland and Oregon at large?
Yeah, I feel like it's hard developing hobbies in your early mid 20s, but I love reading. I think I that's basically everyone I know, but I was an English major, so I'm kind of biased towards reading fiction and being super into that. I also have recently started running. I joined a run club, so I think I've gotten way into that and have officially signed on as an alternate for Hood to Coast later this year. So I think my running training is gonna get take up a lot more of my time this year. And then besides that, other outdoorsy things I like to do. I am a snowboarder. I've been snowboarding for like a little over 10 years now, and I love doing that during the winter. And I also am, a sporadic hiker. I like going out in the summer. I have a dog, so we go out every now and then. But I think that's most of the hobbies that I've, accumulated since graduating, since I've had a lot more time to myself.
Yeah. We on the Peak Northwest podcast need someone to represent the snow sports, especially throughout the winter time on the podcast.
Because it's not going to be me. Uh, Chiara, what can you tell us about your dog?
Oh my gosh, I could tell you everything about my dog. He's like clearly the best dog in the world. He's a little miniature schnauzer. I grew up with miniature schnauzers, so he's like the third schnauzer I've had basically since I was a child. And I actually got him from Texas and flew him up. He's a little white, like 15-pound dog. And yeah, he's like the absolute best. I go running, hiking with him, and he's like the biggest cuddler. He's like the absolute best to have. He sleeps in the bed basically like glued to my side. He's like a little furnace. So,
Gosh,
really multi-use little dude. So,
what's his name?
sorry, his name is Bucky.
Bucky.
Bucky, short for Bucky Barnes from the Marvel Universe. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we're big superhero fans in my household.
Wow, I love that. Have you and Bucky, like, what are some places that you've gone together that have felt really really cool or special?
Good question. I kind of take him everywhere. So we we have gone on a lot of hikes in like the Forest Park area. We've also gone a little bit further out in like central Oregon-ish towards Mount Hood and such. I've taken him like on flights with me. He's the perfect carry-on size. So I get to take him on the planes with me. And we've gone to Colorado. My family is big on doing ski and snowboarding trips out there, so we do that a lot. And I just take him around downtown or to like any assignment that I can possibly bring him to outdoors. So he's seen a lot of coffee shops, a lot of parks, a lot of cultural festivals and events like that.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I'm glad to know that the dog content and dog activities will continue on the podcast. It's very important to me. Chiara, do you have like a certain area of Oregon that you've been able to explore so far that you really like? Like, obviously, we got the coast, we got the mountains, got the desert. What are you into?
Yeah, I feel like the place that I've probably visited the most would be like the Mount Hood area. We drive up there a lot. My partner and I, he's a massive skier. So we end up going there to go on hikes. We've gone there in the summer to go try out some of the lakes, swimming, things like that. But I haven't really visited like too much of Southern Oregon. I have made it to Crater Lake. That's obviously gorgeous, and the Oregon coast a couple times. But other than that, I'm really just curious to explore more of what Oregon has to offer. I really want to go to the dunes at some point. That's like on my bucket list. And yeah, I feel like I haven't really gone to like what would that be? The like southeast part of the state at all. I've kind of been to the other corners, as it may be. I've been to Wallowa and been to the Willowa Mountains area once. So yeah, I think kind of been hopping all over the place, but not too much experience traveling around the southern area.
So I mean, I heard a lot of those places that you have not been out there. Are there any like spots in particular where you're like, it's 2025, we're making travel plans? Are you planning on going anywhere in particular new this year that you're really excited about?
Probably the dunes, since that's what I would be most excited to see.
Yeah.
Well, tell me more about that. What about the dunes is so exciting to you?
Honestly, I'm just kind of into the idea of seeing like the area that inspired the actual book Dune.
Yeah.
So, really love those movies. I've been wanting to read the book, but that's a whole other story. So I think just being able to see it for myself. I've not been in too many like sandy climate desert areas. So, it's just kind of one of those like beautiful parts of the state that I feel like I should see.
Totally. It seems like an achievable goal too, to get out to the dunes.
Yeah, I don't think it's not too far, right? A couple hours.
Couple few hours out there. Yeah, but an overnighter is easy enough to go to the dunes, or a very long day trip if you can drive for long stretches at a time.
Chiara, have you been able to explore a bit like in kind of working your beat? Where has work kind of taken you out that you've been able to explore or see that you've liked?
Yeah, mostly I feel like I stick to Portland and Portland metro area. I end up going a lot to like Beaverton, Hillsborough, Cornelius area, since that's where I would say more of the diverse communities are situated. Also, have ended up going to Salem and Woodburn, a few areas south of Portland. But as far as like where my job has taken me, I wouldn't say like much farther than Salem, honestly. So I've gotten to kind of experience every single part of the Portland metro area, which has been really nice as someone who's semi new to the Portland area.
Of course, we do have to ask on the podcast, food is very central to this podcast. Any great restaurants or places that you've discovered recently that you're enjoying?
Oh my gosh, so many. I recently got this app Belly where you can like rate every single place that
Yeah.
you've visited.
Oh my gosh.
So I have like everything ranked. I'm like a huge type A person, so I am obsessed with like keeping tabs on everything that I do see and experience. So just pulling up my app, some of my like favorite restaurants in the Portland area, Porque No for Mexican and tacos. That's on like Mississippi area and absolute favorite. And Cow Moo Dang, that one is in, I think it's in like the Hawthorne area. And that one's a Thai place. And that was just like a walk in off the street. Absolutely incredible. So those are like some of my favorite restaurants. I'm also like a massive coffee shop connoisseur. I will choose any day to work from a coffee shop instead of from my house. So, what my absolute favorite coffee shop, which is pretty close to my house, is called the Dragonfly Coffee Shop, and that's on Thurman, like Northwest area. That is like my happy place. I would live there if I could.
I love Dragonfly. I like ended up there by happenstance one day and sat like on a couch and worked from there. And it was like in the fall and everyone was cozy and the windows were fogged up and had some sort of like specialty drink they made called the Dragonfly or something. It was great. I love that spot.
Yeah, it's like such like a comfy vibe. You could sit there and work and
Mm-hmm.
read, literally just like hang out and people watch too. It's a great place.
Yeah. Well, speaking of food and your travel, I love the story you did finding Indian food trucks for South Asian truck drivers I want to say you were out in the gorge. Is that right?
Yeah, it was in Biggs Junction, which is like a little past the
Yeah.
Dalles.
That was a great story. Can you tell us a little bit about that piece and what you found out there?
Yeah, it was kind of like a random pitch that I got in my inbox, and someone was like, there's just these really good Indian food trucks out in Biggs Junction. No one really knows when they got there, how long they've been there, what their story is, but sounded like an interesting thing to go investigate. So I drove out there, and there's just these two Indian food trucks that have been there for around like a couple years, and since I think 2022. And the owners just kind of saw this need for more Indian food for the truck drivers specifically, since there's a pretty large population of truck drivers that are actually Indian, and having like the ability to get healthy, more like filling food at a truck stop instead of just, classic Subway fast food has been a game changer for them. So they've just kind of been catering mostly to that population, but a lot of people travel out from like the Dalles and surrounding areas to come visit. So it was absolutely incredible. The Indian food was amazing. So if you're ever driving along the gorge in that area, you should definitely stop there, because you might not know it exists unless you are just casually getting gas there.
I love that. I saw that and I was like, that's exactly what I want driving through the gorge. I feel like so many times I've been driving from like Joseph back home along 84, and it's like I just need to pull off somewhere. I've been driving for so long and I don't want to go to like McDonald's and I don't want to go to a gas station. And getting like I guess just seeing your pictures of just like a big bunch of like some naan and some curry and some rice, like that's all I want. It's such good, like, you know, pit stop food, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so happy that's there. That was a great find you had.
Yeah, well, I can't take all the credit, but it was a great story to tell. So I was glad I got to connect with them and give their business a little boost, hopefully, let people know that they're there.
Chiara, I'm curious, on this podcast, we obviously are always singing the praises for this state. What have you found in your time so far here that you love most about Oregon?
I absolutely love the weather. I think coming from a super dry and hot climate, I love the rain. I love overcast skies and being able to kind of get through that to like the most beautiful summer climates I've ever experienced was like incredible. I think there is nothing that tops Oregon in the summer. Just like the perfect like 70 degrees for like 3 months. It's always sunny, beautiful. That's like probably my favorite thing about living here is getting to experience summers. And I mean, I don't even mind the rain and the overcast. It can get a little dull after, 6 months, but I think it's just completely worth it to get to summer.
Oh yeah. You have to love it here. I think that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You have to love it here. Otherwise you'll go crazy. I think it's a lot to love about it. I know we talked a little bit about this, but what else is like, what are some main things on your like Oregon bucket list? Not necessarily this year, but like the spots that you've maybe seen pictures of that you're like, I've got to go check out X, Y, and Z in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's so many hiking trails, just even from like reading your coverage, Jamie, there's just tons of places to go outside and like hike. I think things like, Devil's Punch Bowl, like looking in those areas and seeing all like the beautiful, like natural areas that you can just walk around and find in Oregon is absolutely incredible. That's something I want to do more of is to, get outside and go on hikes, see a lot of like the natural geography of the state and I don't know, just experience that the beauty of nature. I think that's something that everybody should prioritize in their life.
Well, you're in a great place to do that, to be able to talk about that and learn about it. We're so excited to have you here to continue to go on this journey of exploring Oregon and the Pacific Northwest together. Well, that's great. Well, Chiara, thank you so much for introducing yourself here. Speaking for myself, I'm just really, really psyched to continue to record with you, and I'm really excited for the audience and for our listeners to get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, me too. I love chatting, love being part of this podcast. So I'm excited to see what comes up next.
Hopefully we can have a future episode and fingers crossed we'll debrief another Hood to Coast experience.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I'm excited to talk about that actually as someone who has never done anything like that.
Oh my gosh. Well, a lot to talk about in the future here. So welcome, Chiara. Vickie, I was going to say like sad to see you go, but again, you're not quite going, but
yeah.
Really happy that you're going to be around a little bit more so we can continue hanging out with you. But moving forward, folks, it's going to be me and Chiara primarily here on the podcast and Vickie behind the scenes. So really excited for this next step, this next phase of Peak Northwest, and hope you all continue to listen along with us.
Absolutely.
Well, folks, that will do it for us for today. Until next time, you can watch our videos on the Oregonian's YouTube channel and view all of our travel and outdoors coverage on OregonLive.com/travel, as well as HereIsOregon.com.
Please leave us a rating or review if you enjoyed the show. And if you want to support this podcast as well as our local journalism, please consider a subscription to Oregon Live. You can find details at OregonLive.com/pod support. Also, if you're a fan of the show and you're interested in potentially sponsoring it, you can get in touch with our marketing people at advertise@Oregonian.com. This episode of the show is produced by me, Vickie Connor, alongside Jamie Hale.
Stay safe and happy travels, everyone. Until next time, we leave you with this 10 seconds of Zen.